3.15.
I wish bike riders wouldn't ride on the sidewalk.
I wish you'd spend a little more time with the children.
I wish the bus would come. I'm freezing.
I wish you wouldn't leave your shoes there. I almost fell over them.
3.16. 1.
It really infuriates me when people drive close behind me.
2. I get very frustrated when something goes wrong with my internet connection and I don't know how to fix it. 3.
It's so embarrassing when I can't remember someone's name, but they can remember mine.
4.
I used to love shopping during a big sale, but now I find it exhausting. After an hour, I just want to go home.
5.
I'm often disappointed with my birthday presents. My expectations are obviously too high.
6.
It amazes me that some people still don't buy things like books and music online.
7.
I find speaking in public absolutely terrifying. I hate doing it.
8. I have often been inspired by reading about how some successful people have overcome difficulties. 9.
I never find instructions for electronic devices helpful. In fact, usually they just confuse me.
10.
When I travel, I'm always thrilled if I manage to communicate something in a foreign language.
3.17. The top 5 regrets were, in reverse order, number 5, having started smoking, number 4, not having saved enough money, number 3, not having exercised more or eaten more healthily, number 2, not keeping in touch with friends, and the number 1 regret was not having traveled more and seen more of the world. 3.18. 1.
I wish I was 10 years younger.
I wish I could understand what they're saying.
2.
I wish I hadn't bought those shoes.
I wish you'd told me the truth.
3.19. 1.
I wish I hadn't eaten 2 pieces of cake.
2.
I wish I'd gone to college.
3.
I wish it wasn't my turn to cook tonight.
4.
I wish I knew where we were.
5.
I wish we didn't have to go to your parents for dinner.
6.
I wish I'd bought those shoes I saw on sale.
3.20. 1.
I wish I hadn't eaten 2 pieces of cake.
Well, it's not my fault. You have no self-control.
2.
I wish I'd gone to college.
Well, it isn't too late. You're only 22.
3.
I wish it wasn't my turn to cook tonight.
Sorry, but it is, and I'm getting hungry.
4.
I wish I knew where we were.
Well, don't ask me. I've never been here before.
5.
I wish we didn't have to go to your parents for dinner.
Do you want me to call and make an excuse?
6.
I wish I'd bought those shoes I saw on sale.
Why don't you go back to the store and see if they still have them?
3.21. 1.
The only thing I really regret is not having had the courage to talk to a girl I met at a party last summer. I really liked her. She was very attractive. But I just wasn't brave enough to start a conversation. I wish I'd tried. I'm absolutely positive we would have gotten along well. Now it's too late. She's engaged to another guy.
2.
At the risk of sounding really negative, the one thing I really regret in my life is getting married. My sister said to me in the car on the way to the registry office, "Someone has to say to you that you really don't have to do this, you know." And, I ignored her because I thought, "What do you know? You're still single." But, in fact, the next day when I woke up, I realized it was a terrible mistake, and I spent the next 15 years trying to get out of it. So, and I would never do it again, so that's probably my biggest regret.
3.
I really wish I'd been able to know my grandmother better. She died when I was 12, and since then I discovered that she must have been a really fascinating person. And there are so many things I would love to have been able to talk to her about. She was Polish, but she was in Russia, in St. Petersburg during the Russian Revolution, and she knew all kinds of interesting people at the time. Painters, writers, people like that. I was only a child, so I never asked her much about her own life. Now I'm discovering all about her through reading her old letters and papers. But I wish she'd lived longer so that I could have talked to her about those times face to face.
4.
When I was 15, I had a weekend job, in a supermarket, stocking shelves and that kind of thing. My friend also worked there, and he persuaded me one day to help him steal a carton of cigarettes, 200 cigarettes from the stockroom. It was a crazy idea and totally out of character for me to do something like that. I'd always been very honest until then. Anyway, the store manager found where we'd hidden the cigarettes, and he called the police. So when we came to work that evening, the police were waiting for us. Although we got off with just a warning, we were only kids. The police came to my house and talked to my mom. I felt so awful. But in the long run, it was probably a good thing, because it meant that I never, ever thought about stealing something again.
5. When I was 16, I got the chance to change schools and go to a better school to do my last 2 years. My parents were really eager for me to change schools because they thought I'd probably get better scores on the college aptitude test and have a better chance of going to college. But I was totally against the idea because I didn't want to leave all my friends behind, and I didn't know anyone at the other school. So in the end, I managed to convince them and I stayed at my old school. I did okay on the test, but not super well. Now I regret not listening to my parents because I think it would have been better for my future career. But at the time, I just couldn't see it.